What's up? What's up, y'all? It's Cosmic Cage back again. So, if you have been living under a rock, there was this app that was created called T, and the purpose of the app, I'm assuming, I've heard multiple different things, is to expose like men that are doing shady stuff, transmitting STDs, all that other stuff. So it was an app to create to like help women come together and figure out like if certain men are doing certain things. I wanted to address this because there was a lot of different things that went on in my head as I just seen as things materialized as the days went on, and hearing the different purposes and reasons why people join this app. So I thought it was just very important for me to skip what I was going to do. I had a video published ready to go, and I was like, no, I have to talk about this. I have to address this. Now, first and foremost, I think the structure isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? I think there is some health and safety benefits from knowing these information. How much does that cross over to like HIPAA and personal health information? I'm not necessarily sure, but if some guy is going around spreading AIDS, I would be like down with women understanding and knowing who this guy is before they do that. Now, obviously, you have to protect yourself by using protection. But it would be easier to kind of know this before you get into it. And especially if it's some guy that's going around purposely spreading it, I think it's important information to know. Now that we got that out of the way, I have a lot of issues with this app in itself. My first issue with this app is it's extremely one-sided. Any person can tell you they've been through dating experiences that they wish they handled differently. And I don't care if you're a man, I don't care if you're a woman. Everyone has made poor decisions in dating. Now, the problem is a lot of times men will harbor and not really express, or won't properly know how to express it for you to get the message across. Or they've said something smaller and they see that you didn't hold yourself accountable and it's like, this is not going to go well. So they don't really necessarily communicate when they're talking to women like their negative experience with them, right? Because a lot of times as a guy, you understand that you're not going to get the perfect woman. You've been through this routine over and over. Is she cool enough to vibe with? Is she cool enough to talk to? Is she cool to like spend time with? Do I enjoy your company? It's like very simple to please men. It's not very difficult. So, we'll look over certain things if all the other things are cool, right? So we're not going to be nitpicking little things. What ends up happening is a lot of people end up going through these experiences, dating a bunch of people, and think that, I ain't do nothing bad. I never did anything bad. I've always called out and nitpick all these little things when the men I dated have said little to minimal things. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't done any bad in your dating life and experience. So I think it's very important to understand that your perspective, right, is only a perspective. And they always say there's always two sides to the story, and the truth is somewhere in the middle. And if you have a grudge with a person, if you don't like the way it ended, if you see them with somebody that you don't like, or they moved on so fast, or they did something, you can have a personal grudge and you could go out there and attack this person and spread information that might be a little jaded or one-sided or might be half of the truth. So an app that kind of just puts one perspective on a person without knowing any details, it can be very dangerous and misleading. And I don't want people to be judged based off of a dating experience, or what I want to communicate and talk about is their past experience, because most people generally you would think will get better as they date more and as they get older. So I don't want to be a man in my 30s haunted by my experience in my 20s. I should be able to have the opportunity to grow, develop, and become a better person. Sometimes it happens in real time. Sometimes you would do or have a dating experience, then you'd be like, damn, that was terrible. I shouldn't do that again. And you would never do it again. I'm not saying that to everyone. Some people just are pattern based and they do the same thing over and over. But there's generally people out there that mess up and feel really bad about messing up. And they make sure and go out their way to make sure that they don't do it again. So being held back by your past isn't really necessarily the way that we need to grow as a society. If we were judged by our past, we would never have a future. So I want to just make sure that we understand that we're not just a one-sided past judge community. And another reason I want to bring that up is because, like, how is this very different from the debate or conversation about body count, right? Women don't like the conversation of body count. They don't. And the reason they don't like it, they feel like it's invasive, it's not important, it's not all this other stuff. But the body count conversation is literally this same conversation. Because for a guy, him knowing your body count and like how you operate is kind of like him knowing your past. And if he knows that you have 200 bodies, you messed with 200 men, he's not going to want to date you. He's going to probably be like, nah, this is not someone to date. This is someone to just smash and dip, right? That's his mentality. And how's that any different than this, right? You find out information about someone's past and you're just like, oh, this is how I should operate and treat them based off their past, not based on who they are now and not based on how they treat me. I'm doing it based off of prejudge or pretext of a different situation that didn't concern me in the past. I don't need to know somebody's body count. I don't care. I could care less. I could kind of tell based on you how you operate, how your body count is. But if this app was another version for men, it would be a terrible dating experience for a lot of women, because there is generally a lot of women that treat different men differently, right? Like, how you treat dating a drug dealer is not how you're going to treat dating a guy who works front desk at a corporate job, right? You're not going to treat him the same. But if that guy sees that, oh wait, this guy never took you on a date, all he did was just take you to his car and y'all went back to his crib and that was it, you will never be able to secure dates. So then you'll be upset, you'll be crying, like you'll literally be in demise and be destroyed because no one wants to take you seriously because of stuff you did in your past. Regardless if it's fair or not, that's what would happen if it was the other way around. Oh wait, these guys got all of this from me, from you, but you want me to do this? This ain't adding up. The Carfax ain't checking in. So we have to be very, 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 very smart and tactful about what we do on society, in society, and how we present ourselves. And something that I always talk about, trauma bonding. A lot of people like to bond off of trauma, specifically women. This is why a lot of women watch trash reality TV. This is why they get in circles and talk about how bad and shitty men are. And this is not the way that you want to live your life. Now, I'm not saying it's not a bad thing. You should be able to express yourself, whether it's a positive or negative experience. But when you thrive in that world, that gets very dangerous. How can you walk into a toxic room and not expect to get any waste on you, right? You're going to leave that room with some of that negative toxic energy on you. So if all you talk about is negative experience with men, why do you think that you will have better experience going forward? There is scientific studies that show the more you talk about something, the more it becomes a reality, the more it becomes a part of your life. You're subconsciously putting yourself in a loop without actually thinking about it. So the fact that it didn't shock me when this app went #1, because we see that this is what a lot of people do, specifically women, I'm saying, when they get together in groups and talk. So now to have it as a global scale, it was easy to do that. Now, on top of this, you've seen that a bunch of people's data and information and pictures got hacked. I don't know if to call that karma. I don't know if to call that God sees everything. I don't know whatever you want to call it, but it was a very short run and look at what happened. And it's just so negative for me. And that's really my take on it. This is not really supposed to be a structured video. This is not supposed to be like something where I'm going off and trying to teach you a lesson or anything, but it's just my take on something that I see, especially in modern times, how it affects dating and like the purpose of these things. Like if it has good purpose and if it's really a health-based content, then that's good. If you want it to be what it is now and how it's used, then you need to have it both ways. And we damn sure know they don't want to have it both ways. So at the end of the day, do good by people, be a good person. You're going to bring positive and good energy into your life. Don't really attach yourself to too much negativity. There's this famous saying, show me your 5 friends and I'll show you where you'll be in 5 years. The people you're around, the stuff you bring into your life will reflect on how your life is shown. Again, it's Kage, back with another video. Hope you have a great day.